everybody. Welcome again. Another edition of 18 Minutes with 180 Markets. Friends, there's an expression that decades happen and only weeks go by, and week that goes by where an entire decade happens. Well, friends, this last week, an entire decade has gone by for Estrella Resources. Just if you recall, we spoke with Chris Daws, who's with us again today, only a week ago. But I'm sure Chris will let you know, boy, has a lot changed in 7 days. Anyway, enough with me. Chris, welcome back to the show.
Greg, thank you. Thanks for the introduction. Pleasure to be back so early in the piece, and pleasure to be talking to your listeners and viewers and shareholders out there. I'm hoping there's a few shareholders that are listening in.
You're talking to one. Yeah.
It's certainly a very, very happy time to be an Estrella shareholder and certainly looking to the future. Absolutely.
Chris, we obviously, unless you've been living, so to speak, under a rock, your stock has rocket shipped up 400% yesterday. Tell us what's transpired.
Yeah, look, Greg, thanks. Look, I've been and worked in and around the financial markets for a long time. When you have a trading like we did in our stock yesterday, with the volume turnover, almost our entire capital base of 700 odd million shares moving through the market, and a share price appreciation of some 400+%, and major money invested and turned over, we're talking in excess of $40 million of turnover in our stock. We have never seen that before in Estrella Resources. It's very, very significant. And that alone tells us that what we have, even before reading the news that we did put out to the market about a new significant discovery at Carboid, that tells you that it is very significant. The market the financial markets understands it, and as obviously it's reflecting in that trading. But certainly, what's changed in a few days since our last interview, I did mention to you that we were only one drill hole away potentially of unlocking the source of the Carboid rocks nickel sulfides. And we believe, and I wasn't aware at the time, we're actually drilling the hole that was going to hit nickel massive sulfides at Carboid. So we've actually, I guess, come forward rapidly in our understanding of where this might sit. We hit it completely blind at 400 metres, and it's completely open in all directions, back to the mine and to the north and to the south and at dip. The downhole geophysics from here will be key, as they have been key in all of the other major nickel sulfide projects around the globe, including in Australia at Nova Bollinger and Legend Mining's Mawson's play. And we're going to be applying that technology to follow this massive sulfide into a major body, we believe a major ore body.
Absolutely. Now, Chris, can you just explain, we've spoken on the last call about how you're drilling slightly deeper or wider than has previously been drilled before. And that's really what's transpired, I suppose, is that you've just gone a little bit under, which is in some ways to me, the most exciting part is that you may just be getting started. Can you just explain from a high level again about where you're drilling and how it's just slightly different?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of the major drill holes at depth, and there was quite a bit of deep drilling down and around the Carboid nickel mine pipes when they were determining and defining the ore reserves for that mine from when it was discovered in 1968-69. Great Boulder, Western Mining, Defiance Mining, Titan Resources, Yilgarn Mines and again Brockman, they drilled deep holes into the pipes at Carboid. The Carboid pipes represent a small portion of the massive sulfide that had been remobilised from a source, and it was that source that we were determined to find. Outside of the immediate mine area, there's a number of prospects, or there's multiple prospects that were determined then by the other parties, joint venture parties, and there was numerous copper and nickel prospects that were drilled very, very shallow. You could count the number of holes below 100 metres on my hands. There's literally very, very limited drilling outside of the immediate mine area. And back in the 60s and 70s and the early part of the 80s, the tenement packages were actually were held by numerous parties. So there wasn't a concerted effort. What we have at Carboid now is an entire intrusion package under our land holdings. So we're able to get all of the old all of the old exploration data and run through all of the old targeting where the nickel's seen in geochemical anomalies or anomalous drill holes, and then go back and determine what prospects those particular targets have. And then we ran geophysics, and then we determined whatever we're going to find is going to be deep. Most of the nickel ore bodies in Western Australia, these big ore bodies, are sub 200, sub 300 metres. And we were determined that we were going to locate the source, and to do that, we needed to drill deep holes, and we were committed to that. Fortunately, my board gave me the authority to drill 600 metre holes, expensive for a small junior mining company. We've done that, and we've nailed massive nickel sulfide under one of the geochemical signatures that were drilled by Great Boulder in the 60s. And it's just a fantastic result. We've done it early in the piece, which was now going to allow us to apply our efforts into that area, and it is open. So it's only the start. It's very, very early days, and it's only the start. But obviously, it's being reflected in the market already about how significant this is. Mafic layered intrusions normally don't give up their secrets very easily. We've managed to nail it in this drill hole, and it will be, I have no doubts, a very significant body of sulfides when we eventually follow our EM targets along.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that one of the important points that I've picked up, and I hope the audience does too, is it's entirely possible that you're drilling, quote unquote, in the wrong spot at this point, where it could even be bigger than maybe people would imagine. Like it's by no means have you hit absolutely the sweet spot. Isn't that true?
No, there's no way in the world we've hit the best part of it at the moment. That would be unreasonable to think. We know we're onto an elephant. We've either hit the toenail or the toe, or we've hit the tail. We're going to follow this particular massive sulfide zone and lead us into a chamber or a bigger mass of massive sulfides, and it really is from here only a matter of time. And that's why you're seeing so much money invested and such an uplift, is we're de-risking the project. We've de-risked it significantly by finding this particular mineralisation where it is and away from the mine and what it possibly could mean.
Absolutely. So, Chris, as you said, or I said, so much has taken place in 7 days. What would be now the next steps for the company? Because it's entirely possible that it's very different than our discussion just a week ago.
Absolutely, Greg. Look, our plans haven't changed since we set out to drill 3 deep 650 metre diamond drill holes in the T5 target area. So we've hit this 15 metres of mineralisation, including 3 metres of massive sulfide. Due to the circumstances surrounding the tightness of the industry at the moment, with so much activity and so much exploration going on, getting crews and downhole EM crews is a pretty interesting task for the guys at the moment. So it was going to take a number of days to get the crews in over the hole and survey. We didn't want to have our drill rig sitting there idle and costing the company and shareholders money and wasting shareholders' funds. So we were determined to then step out to the north, and we've stepped out some 600 metres, and we're now drilling, as we speak, still drilling a further hole down to hopefully the contact 600 metres further north, just to see what that may reveal. Now, I can assure you, if we hit more sulfide material 600 metres away, that'll start to give you some perspective of how large and how significant this may be. There's every chance that may happen, but we have to drill the holes, and we have to survey, and we have to follow our nose. But if we don't hit anything in the northern hole, that's okay. We can go back to where we've just been. We will survey the holes. The crews will come in shortly. We'll survey the holes, and we'll just follow our nose. But we're continuing on with the program that we've set out to do. We'll complete that so we can close off that section if needed, or open up the exploration play in its entirety and really see where this can take us.
Absolutely. So is it fair to say on this next hole, we should see results to the market in, say, 90 days, would you call it? Or 120 days?
Yeah, no, it looks going to be a lot sooner than that. Hopefully we can get the crews running at double shift. Hopefully we don't have as many issues that we did have in the last hole that we've just drilled with the sulfides in it. I can tell our viewers and our shareholders we were very, very, very close to calling it quits on this particular discovery hole because we had a lot of issues with faulting, fracturing, losing water. We thought, and the rods were tending to pull up away from the inclination that we had it. But in the end, we pushed on. We pushed on and we persisted, and we got the result we did. But in terms of the drill timing, these deep 600-metre holes can take some weeks to drill, and especially if you have issues with ground conditions, water loss, water return, those sort of things can hold you up even further. And as I said, the industry is extremely tight on not only services for downhole EM, etc. We're finding it difficult to find drilling crews to run 24/7. So your overnight crews, you might only have an overnight crew come in for a few days and then go out. You have to return back to a 12-hour shift until you can get that overnight crew back again because you can't replace it. So that does slow things down. Obviously, with what's happened with this discovery hole, we want to fast track everything. So we're pulling all stops, all the contacts and our history in the northeastern goldfields that we've had with all of our various service providers. This is significant. We want to apply maximum pressure to now unravelling that. We want to get the exploration camp in expanded form. We don't want to be living like gypsies out there anymore, which we have been doing on an oily rag. Things have now changed dramatically. We will put in the right communications. We'll put in new exploration camp. We're looking to put in more drill rigs. We are going to find what this thing is going to deliver, and we're going to do it quickly.
Absolutely. And also for the viewers out there, just as a reminder, nickel, one of the hottest commodities, especially as we enter the new age of EV and new power, I suppose is the best terminology for it. So the long-term outlet, for any input into this world is certainly favorable. Chris, just in closing, any final words for our viewers and shareholders?
Greg, that's a very, very very good lead. I just undertaken a few hours and a few sessions down at the Pay Dirt Australian Nickel Conference. Had only on Tuesday, and I can assure our shareholders we are in the best commodity. We are absolutely, the investors out there, we are in the best commodity. Make no mistakes. I said in the last interview, if the nickel boom was not on our doorstep, it's around the corner. What I saw at the conference of recent times was the likes of Roskill, Macquarie Bank, making predictions about the nickel price in a few years' time, about the EV nickel battery thematic. And it is amazing. The major car manufacturers in Europe have committed $500 billion to infrastructure to build EV vehicles. Make no mistake, that is happening, that's committed. What that means for the nickel industry is that there simply isn't enough supply to go into these industrial chains to create batteries, etc. We are going to see a significant boom in the nickel market. There's no doubt that's the why BHPs of the world are building nickel sulfide plants, why Tesla's talking to the world's biggest nickel miner. It's because we are on the verge of a boom. If you want to be in a boom and you want to be in nickel, Estrella's a good starting point because we're about to find a very interesting nickel deposit at the right time, at the right place, sitting in northeastern goldfields of Western Australia. We're 30 kilometres away from plant infrastructure that could probably turn that dirt into concentrate. If we find a big enough ore body, obviously we can build our own plant infrastructure. We're very close to port, rail, gas. It's a very exciting time, and you wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Honestly, Greg, it is just going to be one hell of a ride. As I said, strap yourself in.
Chris, thank you so much. And again, you have to be in the right commodity, the right project, the right management team. You have all those three things in place. You're going to make money. Chris, thank you very much. Please stay in touch, and we really look forward to the news flow over the next weeks and in the next years, frankly.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. It's going to be an interesting time ahead. Appreciate it. Thank you, viewers.
Bye-bye.